Hello again, and welcome back to Wingot Plays Technological Journey. I have just finished recording an episode and realised as I went to upload it that it was recording my Discord screen, not my Minecraft screen, the whole time. So unfortunately, I have lost the episode worth of progress there. But effectively, why is that open? I came in and showed the things that we've done so far. So for example, in here I've built 3 coke ovens, so I built the extra one there and wired it up. I've also built an extra large bronze boiler, and we've got a steam oven in there. And then we've got all of our LV tier machines, our assembling machine, macerator, compressor, bending machine, lathe, wire mill, alloy smelter, electrolyzer, laser engraver, mixer, which we were using the mixer to get drilling fluid, and then the basic distillery, which we were using to get the lubricant that the drilling fluid is made out of, which we just made all of that in the last episode. I will come clean that out later on. We've got a vial processor so that the outputs of these here, the what's called the powered spawner, can then be run through the vial processor, and we can get the mob drop outputs, zombie heads, rotten flesh, etc., and then a painting machine and a wired charger. The large bronze boilers are of course making steam, and we've got a few steam turbines in here. As I say, I made the distillery and the mixer, and I got all of that running, along with a ender tank here, which we've filled with steam, so that we can pop over to the overworld. And in here I've moved it. It was previously over on a copper and tin section, but it's now over here. I've got the basic chunk miner, which should definitely not be empty. It had 2 tanks of drilling fluid. Okay, let's go grab in fact, I've definitely got drilling fluid on me, because that's what is in this tank here. There you go, and there's still another 176 buckets of drilling fluid there. But if we take a look here, so this basic chunk miner will basically anything that's within this chunk here, which if we take a look with our prospector, we can see that this particular chunk, in fact, this particular chunk has been completely... There you go, you can see all the cobblestone has already been completely mined out. So that's why it ran out of drilling fluid, because it had actually done the whole chunk. But yeah, you can see the great big hole right there in the middle of this, whereas it previously had stibnite, tetrahedrite, copper in this particular location. I'm thinking that I will move it over probably to here, so that we can get that bit of Certus quartz ore. The 24 there. The ruby as well would be nice, so it may be worth going over 1 square there. But yeah, effectively, let's take our... I wonder if I can... No. I don't think I can empty that out, unfortunately. So, let's grab our ender tank, our basic steam turbine. This crate, everything's got to spew on the floor, but we've got enough inventory space for it. And then let's actually have a little bit of a look around. So, we've got tetrahedrite, copper. Have I just fallen in and there's no way out? I think I have. So let's do that. Cool. So let's have a look what other zones we've got here. We've got many ores over there at 106 meters. Let's go take a look at that one and see if it's got some interesting ores that we want to dig up. Otherwise, there's some tin there, there's some uranium, there's some lead and silver. salt and rock salt, which we've got enough of for the time being. So let's go take a look. Oh, I think I accidentally held down the left key there. Perfect. So now let's take a look here. So in this particular, there's one Certus quartz. There is none there, I don't think. Yeah, okay, because the Certus quartz is here. There's a lot of Certus quartz in that tile and in that tile. So this particular tile here, one south of where we are, there's a bit of poor quality stuff, but let's take a look. So where is south? South is that way. So if we go over one tile's worth, then yes, that should have the things that we want. Now, if we pop the basic quartz chunk miner, it's got a output port here, which is where the crate goes, and then we just need to give it a bit of power, which we can do with a basic steam turbine. That was not what I meant to do. Good, basic steam turbine, an ender tank set to output, and then that should be getting power. Now we just need to supply it with a bit of drilling fluid, and as soon as it drills down to the depth where the ores are, it will start outputting ores into the crate here. And we should be getting a lot of different ores as part of that output. So we will chunk load this chunk. Oops. Perfect. And then we can leave that running, and when we come back we can pick up all of those ores, although it will probably overfill an inventory with what is available there. I saw that, but I recognized it too late and wasn't able to jump over. Here we go. So the copper Certus limonite ruby, I don't think I've cleaned out everything in this area. I've just cleaned out that single chunk, so I'm going to leave that be for the time being. Anyway, that's where I was up to and what we did in the last episode, which unfortunately was lost because OBS was recording the wrong screen. This episode, let's clear out our inventory a bit, and then we will see what we can do about, here we go, sand. In fact, it's probably easiest to just ditch that piece of sand, and then see what we can do about progressing on with the LV chapter, which hopefully we can get to MV this episode. But to start with, I think we probably want to work on getting the basic circuit assembling machine up and running. And so that's just talking about ore processing, impure pile of ruby dust, which we can then process crushed sphalerite. So let's see, do we have any sphalerite ore? We have a bit. So, there we go. And none in there, and a chunk in there. So if we go macerate our sphalerite here, we will be able to complete this this particular quest, which will then allow us to, let's do that and that, which will then allow us to move on to getting some small piles of gallium dust, I think, which we do in the electrolyzer. But let's see. So sphalerite can produce crushed sphalerite, which in the thermal chemical bath gallium. So we can't do, in fact that's not even an option there. I don't see gallium purified. Produced by processing centrifuged sphalerite ore, impure pile of sphalerite dust with the centrifuge. Okay, so there we go, impure pile. So we need to run it twice in the pulverizer, which gets us the impure pile, which then we can centrifuge. There we go. That's what I was looking at before. So may as well run a bit more of this crushed sphalerite, and then we're going to need to centrifuge it. I don't know if you noticed, but in the list of machines that I mentioned before, we don't have a centrifuge. So I am going to have to make that one quickly. Let's take a look. So the centrifuge takes, here we go, 4 processors, 2 tin cables, 2 motors, and the LV machine holes. Leave that to process while we go quickly make our centrifuge, which unfortunately I think is going to clean out what we've got left of primitive processes there. And let's take a look. So we need 2 tin wire. We need 4 motors, was it? No, 2 motors. And what goes in this? Yes, we need a LV machine hole. Perfect. So then we can get those out of my inventory bar, move that. Cool. We should be able to make our basic centrifuge. Perfect. And we are also going to need a piece of wire to connect it to the system. And then we can go over here, make a spot for our centrifuge, which for now may as well go right here. And so centrifuge with power. Perfect. Now if we take our impure pile of sphalerite dust, throw it into our centrifuge, that will of course make sphalerite dust and gallium ingots. Sphalerite dust could make zinc. Cool. And or possibly a little bit more gallium dust. But okay, is this a chance output? It is. It's a 33% chance output. Okay. So we're going to need to spend a little while. There we go. There's a bit of gallium dust. But impure pile, good. We got impure piles. That's going to give us 4 gallium dust. And of course, we are getting a little bit of spare gallium dust here as well. Now, if we convert all of that into small piles, that will complete that, and then diode is the last thing, which we need the small piles. We need fine copper wires, which is just wire mill and copper wires. So we can get 8 of that. Let's have a quick look. So we've got 16 here, and so we need 4 copper wires in order to get 32 fine wires. Or 4 copper ingots, sorry. I think I might have said 4 copper wires, but the 4 copper ingots will double to make 8 in the wire mill. Will double to make 8 copper wires, and then the copper wires can be, let me just double check, run again in the wire mill to get 32 fine copper wires. Perfect. And then if we take another look here, we need some glass panes. Glass panes, easy to do. Impure pile of ruby dust. I think the main thing this is used for is to... No, it's electrolyzed, isn't it? Oh, it's impure piles. So we make ruby dust, which can then be used to make chrome dust and a bit of aluminium, but that's an MV tier recipe. So don't know why they've given it to us this early. Still, let's take a look at it. So we've got 32 fine copper wires. Just going to check that it's close. Like I want to put this extra sphalerite in there. That said, it looks like we're getting a lot of sphalerite, 4-to-1. So I might put away this extra stack here, and then we'll rerun that sphalerite when we get back in just a second. Let's throw that there. And we've got gallium, we've got fine copper wire. We just need some glass so that we can make some glass panes. Perfect. And I think we only need, we need as many glass panes as we've got fine copper wire. So we should be able to make a whole lot of diodes there, 16. Perfect. And then the diodes allow us to make the primitive assembly, which unfortunately we're going to need some more primitive processors, some wrought iron, some red alloy cable. Those are easy, but unfortunately this is yet again something we're going to have to make. I think I'm going to make a stack of them. I will be back in just a sec. And boom, about an hour and a half later, finally got our primitive processors. Did have to wait for quite a while on enough string to get the red alloy cables. And so because of that, I've done a little bit of work over here on trying to expand our string farm. With a goal of hopefully eventually filling in all of this space over here once the flax seeds have managed to give me enough seeds to fill in the rest of that. I also will eventually, of course, move it all over to the void base and automate it with like a farming station or something like that. But for the time being, that is our string source, and it is at times being quite a limitation. But 64 primitive processors. Now, if we used all 16 diodes that we've got, we would immediately use up all of those primitive processors. But the primitive processors, we need we need two in order to make the basic circuit assembly machine. Two prism, and then there was something else that I was looking at, which we do need to make, that uses a couple of primitive assemblies as well. But for the time being, we'll make, let's say we make 4 primitive assemblies. We can always make more if we need more later on. So we need a couple more red alloy cable, but that should be a lot more manageable given that, of course, let's just do this. Let's do 6 will give me 12, and then I'll have a bit of spare as well. Perfect, and then that's pretty much the last of our string there. If we pop over to our alloy smelter, we can get our red alloy, and then we can just wire mill that straight down. Perfect. And then, what was it, wrought iron? Yeah, and then we just need a couple of wrought iron plates, which I don't know if I've currently got any wrought iron. I'm going to have to take a look at that as well. Perfect, so that didn't use up all of the redstone. The wire mill was pretty quick. The alloy smelter wasn't particularly slow either. And so that throw away this redstone, see if we've got any more wrought iron. Because if we're going to make 4, we're going to need 8 wrought iron. Let's take a look here. I don't see any wrought iron at all. So might be worth making a full stack. And while I'm here, grab those. And then this will leave us with 4 spare red alloy cable, which will then hopefully be useful as well. If we only need 8, then as soon as this first lot comes out, we can go process that. Hot iron ingots. I got rid of the primitive alloy smelter, so unfortunately the only thing we can do with these is hammer them, because there doesn't seem to be another recipe for hot alloy ingots. It looks like in time you're meant to get wrought iron from other processes, but the hot iron ingots anyway, it's either use the hammer or primitive alloy smelter. So I could potentially reset up the primitive alloy smelter, maybe just put it in here just for processing the hot iron ingots, but I just haven't bothered to do that yet. The hammer is not particularly expensive to use. Now, is that everything we need to make 4 primitive assemblies? Perfect. Now, primitive assemblies done. We want to make the basic circuit assembly machine as well. We can get rid of both of these. Let's take a look at this. So we've got those. LV hatch, conveyor module. Let's see, what have we got over here? So we've got the LV hatch. We've got 1 robot arm. And I'm not seeing, there's a conveyor module. Okay, so we need an emitter and a conveyor module and 2 tin cables. We can put away these red alloy, grab a couple of tin, and I am not seeing a emitter or another conveyor. So if we take a look here, that's going to be 6 rubber, 1 tin, and an electric motor. Easy. Well, 2 electric motors, 6 rubber. Perfect. And then the emitter is going to be 2 processors, which we've got plenty of those in our inventory at the moment, and 4 brass rods. We've only got 2. I'm sure that, well, that's in the wrong spot, but there we go. No, that's bronze. Do we? I don't think we've got brass at the moment. No. Okay, fine. But brass is made out of, in an alloy smelter, 3 copper, 1 zinc. Perfect. Well, we can easily do that. I'm sure we've got zinc. There we go. So let's just do a half stack, in which case it'll be that. Perfect. So that'll get us the extra brass, and then we need 1 quartzite and 2 tin cables. Perfect. And then that should be everything we need. We just need to alloy smelt the brass together and then lathe a single ingot. So alloy smelter those. Perfect. And as soon as we get a single ingot, it can go into our lathe and get us the other 2 brass rods, at which point I think we should have all the components that we are going to need. Perfect. And nope, lathe is over here. Perfect. Now, while we're here, I'm just going to grab that because that was spare. There we go. We've got our bronze rods. So let's take a look here. We need 1 emitter. We need 1 conveyor. And we need a basic circuit assembling machine. Perfect. Now, we currently don't have anywhere that can connect in, so we're going to need a bit more tin cable, which is easy enough. We just pop over to here and let's grab all of it. Meanwhile, I'm going to just put away that hoe because we don't need it at the moment. And if we pop back in here, then right here next to the centrifuge, may as well fill in these other couple while we're here, because we're going to need them eventually. Basic circuit assembling machine. Perfect. Now, I am curious, what can we make with that? Presumably, we can make circuits. There you go. Electronic assembly, display, refined processes. Cool. So the electronic assembly, is there refined assembly, microprocessors? Okay, where is the electronic processor? Or does that not get made in this? Anyway, we've got our basic circuit assembler. All of this is done. So last thing is we need to get working on some aluminium, which is going to be needed to do MB. So in order to do that, it looks like step 1, let's make a basic cluster mill. That looks easy. It's just going to be we need some more steel plates and wrought iron, I think, because we don't have any more LV machine holes. So there is some steel there. I've got some wrought iron over in I've got hot ingots over there. And so we've got that. So the electronic processor, so it is made in a circuit assembler. I just obviously didn't see it. Perfect. So what are we doing? We're trying to make the basic circuit mill. Also of note, basic forming press. We definitely have built one of those. Obviously, this quest was just not unlocked at the time. If we do this though, that should... Basic forming press. Oh, it's a basic bending machine. I don't have a basic forming press. Okay. We've got a whole lot more hot iron ingots. And I'm going to need... Let's use you and make... Well, in fact, let's make another 32, because we can then use those to make another 4 LV holes, and I'm sure we are probably going to want more than that even. So we do need 4 more steel in order to complete the LV machine holes, and we of course need 8 wrought iron. So if we throw that in there, along with grabbing 8 wrought iron, then that will be everything we need to make our LV machine holes, and the 8 tin cables, which we've got plenty of those, will also be required. I'll be back in just a second once these are finished processing. Okay, and there is our wrought iron plates. So we just need at this point a few, 8 tin cables, and we'll be able to make our 4 wrought, well, not wrought iron, what are they called? LV casings. Perfect. So LV machine hole, LV machine casing, we need to start by making those over here. That gets us 8 of those, and then that should mean we can now go here, make 4 of those. Perfect. And then we just need 6 motors, which we've got sitting right here. And there is our cluster mill. Good. So cluster mill means that we can make, well, I was going to say fine wire, but we make fine wire in the wire mill. Foils, okay. So we can throw our cluster mill there. Perfect. And cluster mill, so we want mica insulated foil. So the mixer, we need mica based pulp, which is made in the mixer, otherwise it wouldn't have indicated that. Mica dust, raw rubber pulp. So we can centrifuge sticky resin, or we can just use sticky resin raw. Sticky resin raw is probably easier. Do we have any mica is the question though. Let's go see what is available in our stockpiles over here. Can't remember, no. Okay, so did we get any mica early on? Looks like we did. Perfect. So, and we haven't had any since. Just our initial stockpile, there was some mica there. Now, let's take a quick look here. So mica-based pulp, mica dust is just smelted mica ore. Perfect. Mica, I think it's probably mica, but I'm not 100% there. Anyway, that will get us our mica dust, and then combine that with sticky resin in a mixer, which we've got for stupid amounts of sticky resin here, 32,500, 13,000 wood there. I did notice as well that our coal coke supplies seem to be diminishing, so I'm not 100% on that. I would have thought, or yeah, my understanding was that the 3 coke oven setup should supply 2 large bronze boilers, while still having a little bit extra, if anything, not burning through the supplies. I don't know if I need to connect creosote oil into that big one there as well, but yeah, not 100% what's going on there. Anyway, so what are we doing? We need a mixer, and we need some mica dust. Interesting that there was only 37. I would have thought it should have had more by now. Anyway, mica dust and sticky resin, and thankfully it's using the empty solid spot here, despite the fact that this thing is full of drilling fluid, lubricant, water. But we are getting our mica-based pulp, and so mica-based pulp can then become mica-based sheets in a basic forming press. So we are going to need to detour for a little bit in order to get... Why is that stalled? The input is... Really? So mica dust, 1 ore makes 1 dust. I swear I threw more than 35 in there. I thought I threw 2 stacks in there. Well, 2 half stacks. I was expecting more like one full stack to come out of it. Still, this will hopefully be enough. Anyway, let's take a look here. Do we have... We don't. We need 2 pistons. So we've already got the cluster mill. So 2 pistons, which is a fair bit of steel. I might come back in just a moment once I've got this. Okay, and we've got 2 electric pistons. Let's take a quick look here. Basic forming press. So that may as well go here for the time being. It is at this point getting reasonable distance away from the turbines, but basic forming press. Okay, so what does this do? This makes coins and molds, fine, and turbine blades, and was that mica-based sheet? Okay, so asbestos dust, mica-based pulp. Let's take a quick look. So we've got the forming press, we've got the mica-based pulp, we need the mica-based sheet, and mica-based sheet is made with asbestos dust and mica. And throw a bit of asbestos in there, run half a stack of asbestos, and then that combined in a forming press with mica-based pulp will get us mica-based sheets. Perfect. So 8, well, 8's not going to be quite enough. 8 will do 32, so we may as well grab, in fact, I think exactly 4 more. So forming press, thrown both of those, and it is running. Perfect. Now, there are a few more steps. I realise this episode is starting to get a bit long. Energy hatches, important things about Gregtech, mica insulator foil, electric blast furnace is going to take a little while to set up, maintenance hatch. Okay, so I think I might call this episode here. Next episode we'll set up our electric blast furnace, get our first aluminium, and then progress a little bit on our MV age. I don't think we'll set up our gold line just yet. We'll probably do that in MV as opposed to in LV, and we can look at setting up a farming station to, 1, help with the string farming, and 2, to replace this tree beacon setup that we've got here for our wood production. But that's all something that we will obviously do in the next episode. Thank you for watching. Stay happy and healthy, and I hope to see you in the next one.